Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. Salutations to the sincere Akim and Aquath and listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another quick lesson. And for today's lesson is going to be Black Indians with fringes, right? So I want to read through a couple. There's a couple, like 2 pages um, in this book. I'm still reading. It's called Negro Question Part 6. And what I want to do, I can leave the name of the book in the description box. And this part of the book is just going into the northern tribes and how dark they looked and some of the customs, some of the Israelite customs that they kept, right? And this is something that's actually not even talked about, very often. These people, being descendants of the tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And so what I want to do, let's get a couple of the pictures that I've taken for your edification, right? Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so here is some of the images, and you can see how dark this woman is, right? And below here, you can see the fringes below her garment, I suppose you can call it a dress, right? This is Geronimo, Apache chief with some warriors, right? Yeah, here's another. More fringes on their garment, right? And then we also have an image here, and you can see also how dark they are as well. And that is something that is commonly not discussed, right? And not commonly not even shown as well, because our people are very, very natural. They take it on that vibration of Esau, right? As a matter of fact, let's get that, and I'll come back to the image. Just give me 1 second. Okay, this is First Corinthians chapter 2. I'll start at verse 10, and it reads the following: But Yahweh hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for his Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of Yahweh. But what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of the man which is in him? Even so, the Spirit of Yahweh knoweth no man, but the Spirit of Yahweh. But we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of Yahweh, that we might know the things that are freely given to us unto Yahweh, right? So we don't have the spirit of the world. And in a case in point, a good example of that is, for example, in the world, when you fill out certain applications, and it might ask for your race or whatever, right? Normally in the world, in a lot of these applications, when you check a certain specific kind of race, it either shows the following options: black, white, Latin, or Hispanic for whatever, Pacific Islander, Asian, and it shows you those like 5 or 6 categories of people, right? But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I'm encouraging you to open your minds and see past that, because that that those categories actually goes back to a German um, so-called white man named I think his name was Johann Blumenbach, and he came up with that those categories of those 5 or 6 different categories of man, right? However, what I'm trying to expose and tear down that stronghold is that, number one, you had a lot of the so-called Native American tribes who are a lot darker, just as bad, like as dark as Judah, right? As dark as the so-called Negroes, because there is something you can even search up as well. During America, I believe it was in the 16 or the 1700s. A lot of the northern tribes were so dark. A lot of them were actually reclassified as quote unquote Negroes. Seriously, they were actually reclassified because they were so similar. They look so similar, right? And a very good example of that is Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson actually, he descends from the Choctaw Indians. His forefathers actually go back to Choctaw Indians, right? You know, so his I think it was his great grandfather, and he had a great grandfather also as well that actually was named. One of his great grandfathers was actually named Israel, right? That's just a fun fact. I just wanted to share that really quickly. Continuing on, it says, verse 13, which things we also speak not in the words of man's wisdom teacheth, but the Holy Spirit teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual, right? And that's one of the things as well, just to bring out as well, because this is what man's wisdom teaches, that if somebody is just dark, they're just so quote unquote Negro, right? But that's not necessarily the case. You could have a lot of native so-called Native Americans who are a lot dark, and then you also have the some of the other nations that were also dark as well, like for example the descendants of Ham, right? Verse 14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of Yahweh, because they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Right, the natural man is unable to receive these things, because when people see, for example, so-called Negroes on the street, if somebody has dark skin, for example, they think that that person is just a Negro, and that's it. There's no more to their thought process, right? Because they don't have that spirit that's being discussed here in one of Paul's writings, right? So let's okay, let's just jump back to the picture, and let's deal with the fringes. So right here, wait, it's not here. You see this woman here has fringes on her garment, right? So it makes you wonder, what did they get that custom from? Right? So let's jump back to the scriptures. As a matter of fact, let me just get Romans first before I. This is Romans chapter 2, verse 14, and it reads, for when the Gentiles which have not the law do by nature the things contained in the law, these are not having the law, are a law unto themselves. And right, and these Gentiles were referred to Israelites, doing things and keeping things in their spirit, in their customs, which actually pertain to the law, without actually being completely aware that, okay, yes, you're an Israelite, right? Because a lot of our people, during the time of Paul's time, and during the time of Yahweh Shai, they did not know that they were um, Israelites, because they were being, we went into multiple different captivities, and in Jeremiah, I believe it's the 17th chapter, it talks about how we would discontinue from a heritage. When you read the different Maccabees, first and second Maccabees, it actually goes into how a lot of our people, they forsook the covenant, and actually, they fell away from their customs, right? So let's get it's lucky. Let's get Numbers. So let's deal with the fringes thing. Where did they get that from? Because that is something we still do today when we go on the highways and byways. Okay, this is Numbers chapter 15, verse 37. And I'll read to the end of the chapter, and it says, And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they may put on the fringe on the borders and a ribbon of blue. All right, so that's when we go out and we speak on the highways and byways. We have our garments, and then we have our fringes below on the garment, with that ribbon of blue. Right, what does it signify? Verse 39: It shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord Yahweh, and do them, and seek not after your own heart, so your own mind or your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring, right? And that is a common behavior with Israel, right? Because our people like to go a whoring in the sense of in a spiritual sense. So, for example, going after the practices of other gods, and this is a very very common problem with our people. And Jeremiah says, "Learn not the way of the heathen," right? This is verse 40, and it says that ye remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your power. Holy meaning separate. I am the Lord your power, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your power. I am the Lord your power, right? So this is that custom. This explains the fringes, right? Also in the book, it also goes into a lot of the so-called Black Scots actually had and kept fringes as well. So I'll go into that, Lord's will, another day. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, some of these images here of so-called, you know, Native Americans and Northern tribes actually, keeping a lot of those customs in their spirit, right? And breaking down that stronghold that, people thinking that the Native Americans, look a certain way, look, very, very light skin and so on and so forth. A lot of them do today, right? But, back then they actually had a lot of melanin, right? you know, and the Jacksons, the Jackson Five, they're a bunch of they're Israelites, but they descend from the Choctaw Nation, right? Which is a subcategory of one of the Native American tribes. So, what I also want to touch upon as well, let's get an excerpt in the book. Okay, so what I want to do is just read this one page in the book, and it says the following. So this is page 99, and it reads, I woke up on a Wednesday in July 2016, and while I was looking at the images of Black Indians, I noticed that they had fringes on their garments, and I blushed. I have been looking for these Indians and their fringes since I was a little boy, and it didn't dawn on me that they were Hebrew Israelites. And that's right. It goes to show that Yahushua was right when he said, You have eyes that can Salakia, you have eyes to see, but you can't see. I don't know if these images are of Black Scots from who founded the colonies or the American Indians, but one thing is for sure, that these Indians are Israelites indeed, right? So, um, let's see if there's a little bit more on that. So right here, it just goes into the different famous so-called Native Americans named Geronimo, Geronimo, the Apache chief, and some warriors, right? So let's go back here. Right, let's see what it says on that one. So this one here, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So this one is a council. So it says Indian chiefs who counsel with General Miles and settled the Indian War. It says Standing Bull, bear who looks back running. 3, the has the big white horse. 4, white tail, liver bear, little thunder, bulldog, a high hawk. Lame 10, the portrait is an eagle pipe group portrait of Lakota chiefs. 5 standing in 5 sitting, with teepee in the background, probably on or near Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, right? Okay, so wait, there's one, I think there's one with Geronimo. Oh, here it is. Okay. And the fringes on his garment as well, right? So that's a very common thing that they did, right? And you see how dark they look, right? Look at that. So let's go to, so one more nugget I just want to bring out, and we could end it off here. Okay, this is Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 40, and it reads, "Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a country where never mankind dwelt, that they may keep their Salakia, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. They entered into Euphrates by the narrow of the river, where the Most High Yahweh showed signs for them, and held still the flood until they were passed over. For though the country they was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, right? And that's a very key point too, because during the time of Solomon and his navy, they went into a place where mankind had never dwelt, and the trip was approximately about 3 years, right? I think that's First Kings chapter 10, right? So a year and a half to go there, and a year and a half to come back, right? Which adds up to 3 years, right? And the same region was called Arsareth, right? And that's the next nugget I just wanted to bring out, because I went into the Jewish encyclopedia, and I just wanted to read this nugget really quickly. So this is the Jewish encyclopedia, and it reads the following: "The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from inhabitation, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration." According to 2nd Ezra chapter 13, Columbus identified America with this land. See C.K. Serling's Christopher Columbus. So that's about it, right? So, they came over to this side of the world because at the time, and there was nobody actually dwelling in this side of the world, right? So this was a prophecy that took place, that happened, right? And that's how Columbus knew that the Israelites were present over in this side of the world, right? And then there was a land over here, right? So Anyways, I think that covers about everything that I wanted to touch on. But hopefully, how Rataza, this video was edifying. I had a couple more precepts, but I don't want to make this lesson too long. But hopefully, this video you found this edifying. And I'd like to just give our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Until next time, I say Shalom.